styles. If you want to follow along with this chapter, you'll need to restart your Pa5X so we'll both be in the same place from the beginning. Also, once the Pa5X is started up, make sure that memory and autofill buttons are on, the control section is set to main, view set to sliders, the keyboard set library buttons set to category, the matrix should be set to bank 1, and reset the crossfade slider by moving it a bit and setting it to the left. Let's look at selecting and playing styles. As I mentioned in the first chapter, you can have a style assigned to player 1 and a different style to player 2. You'll notice that as you move the crossfade slider back and forth, the blue light or the yellow light indicate the current player. Also, on the display, the corresponding style will light up and the other will dim. For now, move the crossfade slider all the way to the left. Since we restarted the Pa5X, my setting is selected by default. Over here in the chord section, you'll notice that lower and upper are on, meaning that a chord is recognized anywhere on the keyboard. A chord is recognized when you play 3 or more notes. Play a chord and start the style by pressing this Player 1 Start button. Notice that a new chord isn't triggered until 3 or more notes are played, allowing you to play melodies. Press Stop. Let's select a new style for Player 1. Touch here, and a selection window opens, similar to the keyboard set selection window. The categories are selected here on the left. You'll notice the down arrow is available, meaning there are more than 12 categories. Touch here to go back up. You'll recognize the similarity to selecting keyboard sets. 10 displayed at a time. To access more groups of 10, touch along here, or use the up-down buttons, or the wheel. Go to the Jazz category, and select Latin Jazz Band. Press Exit. Play a chord anywhere, and start Player 1. Now start Player 2, and slowly crossfade from Player 1 to Player 2. Let's change the Player 1 style, but instead of touching the display, touch the Player 1 Style button to access the Style Select window. Go to the Dance category and select All Night Dance. Press Exit and crossfade back to Player 1. Stop both players. Like we saw in the Sounds chapter, you can search for styles as well by pressing the Search button. It's already set to search for styles. Type something like tango and touch Search. Here are all the styles with tango in the name. Select the one you want, and a prompt asks which player you want to use. Choose Player 1 and press Exit. I'll use tap tempo to start the style. From the Country category, Page 1, select Acoustic Country. Exit. Each style has 15 style elements. These are used to recreate the parts of songs, intros, variations, fills, and endings. You use these buttons to select the style element. Many of the Pa5X buttons have multicolored lights providing a clear and detailed picture at all times. For example, these style element buttons. The intros, the variations, the fills, the break, and the endings are grouped by color. The current style element button is yellow. There are 3 intros. Intro 1 has a chord progression. Intro 2 doesn't have a chord progression. It follows the chords you play on the keyboard. And Intro 3 has a quick one-measure intro. Endings 1, 2, and 3 work the same way. As you go from variation 1 to 4, the musical parts naturally build and get busier in the same way a typical song builds. You'll notice that since autofill is on, a fill is automatically played into the selected variation. You can turn this off so no fill is played. Whether autofill is on or off, you can always directly select the fill you want here. You'll notice that the fills get busier as you go from fill 1 to fill 4. This is used as a break fill. Press stop and turn autofill back on. Notice the tempo of the two styles. When you press this lock button beside the tempo up-down buttons, the tempo of the current player is set for the other player. Start player 1. Then at the start of a measure, start player 2. Now you can crossfade from one to the other, and the two styles are running at the same tempo. Stop both players. For more accuracy, hold down Shift and start either of the players. Now they are perfectly in sync. Crossfade to player 1. Stop both players. Turn off tempo lock. Go to the pop category, page 2, Sunrise Pop Funk. Exit. You'll notice that even though we selected different styles, the original keyboard set didn't change. But actually every style has 4 keyboard sets saved with it. The names are displayed here on the display and can be selected by touching the name, or with these 4 keyboard set buttons. Select the keyboard set 3. Let's use Synchro Start so the style will start as soon as you play the keyboard. Almost all of the factory keyboard sets are set up as a split, and using lower chord scanning, meaning the chords are triggered below the split point with 3 or more notes. Turn off Synchro Start. Some people like to have the same keyboard set to play over each style, but let's set it up so that when you select a new style, the first keyboard set saved with that style will be automatically selected. Over here in the Control section, select User. View is set to show what the sliders are controlling, but press it to show what the buttons are controlling. You'll see that switch 8 is Style to Keyboard Set. Turn that on. Remember that you don't need to set the view to switches to activate them. The View button is just changing the strip display information. Touch Player 1, Classic Pop category, page 1, Georgie Pop, Exit. You'll notice that the first keyboard set, Digital Grand, is already selected, and the other keyboard sets saved with the style are easily selected as well. There are 3 possibilities with Style to Keyboard Set. Off, keeping the same keyboard set when you change styles. On, which selects the first keyboard set of the style and will stay the same as you change to a different variation. And flashing, now when you select variation 2, keyboard set 2 is selected. Variation 3, keyboard set 3 is selected, etc. For now, press it until it is on but not flashing. From the Movie and Show category, page 2, Peter Theme, Exit. These pad buttons can have sounds and phrases assigned to them that follow the chords you play and sync with the style. They can play once when you press it, indicated by this arrow symbol, or loop, indicated by this cycle symbol. This stop button stops the loop. Set the Control section to Style Song and press View so the strip display shows the slider information. Now the sliders control the volume of the 8 separate tracks of the style, with the 9th slider controlling the volume of the keyboard set. Press View. The switches mute and unmute each track. Latin dance category, page 1, pop reggaeton. Exit. There's a keyboard set feature that's used along with the chords of a style called ensemble. Select keyboard set 3 of this style. The possible ways to have the harmonies are incredible. For example, keyboard set 1, ensemble adds octaves. Keyboard set 2 already has ensemble saved with it. It does a trill when more than 2 notes are played simultaneously. Keyboard set 4, turn on ensemble. This keyboard set has 3 sounds. Mute upper 1 and 2. Upper 3 is only triggered with a higher velocity. But you'll notice that even though ensemble is on, only single notes are played. Upper 2, again, only single notes. But upper 1 is playing block chords. Turn on upper 1, 2, and 3. Funk and Blues category, page 1, remember funk. Exit. In the upper right of the Pa5X is the powerful new programmable matrix of big, easily accessible buttons to trigger elements, like sounds and phrases, plus control functions like track, play, mute, etc. Go to the Matrix tab to see what each button is assigned to. There are 3 banks of 16 assignable buttons, plus mute. Select mute. Start the style and use the matrix to mute and unmute the parts. Press stop and set the matrix back to bank 1. From the jazz category, page 1, modern big band. Exit. Select variation 2. You'll notice that this chord sequence button is lit white. That means there's a chord sequence saved with this style. Go to the chords page and press the chord sequence button so it flashes yellow, and the chord progression appears on the display. Just press start and the progression will play and loop. It will loop until you press the chord sequence button again. Press stop. To record your own chord sequence, touch record. Play the first chord, then press start and play the chords. Press stop. Press the chord sequence button so it flashes yellow, and press start. Go to Page menu to save it.